Hey guys, Kim here with some of the latest Tesla news making headlines this week. First off, a memo shared with Tesla employees warns them that the cheapest Tesla is about to lose its biggest perk. Plus, we have some juicy details about the new Project Highland Model 3, from updated headlights to big interior changes. Plus, Tesla is now officially offering a retrofit for its Yoke Steering wheel to round one, and you will not believe how it's being received. All that and more starts right now. Hey guys, I'm Kim Java, and I'm back again this week with my husband PJ. We're going to be talking about all the new EV and Tesla news that are making headlines this week. Tesla is now offering a retrofit if you recently took delivery of a Yoke Steering and you hated it. So I find this super interesting. Obviously, I have a Yoke steering wheel. I was very nervous actually in the beginning, but now that I have it, I will say I love it. But not everyone is feeling that way, because I did go on the website this morning and it was sold out. So
what does that say?
I know. I'm actually really surprised by this. So it is $700 to do this. That includes the price of the wheel and the install for it. And one thing that's super interesting is that the horn is not in the center of the wheel. It's actually off to the side, kind of like how it is on the Yoke.
Yeah, that's the only part that I personally don't like about it. Anytime I've done any sort of complicated turn, I'll trigger that horn. Tesla has to have data points for this to see that the Yoke is causing a lot of people to set the horn on the Model S and X recently.
I always was like, just try it out. You guys will love it. But maybe that isn't the case here with it. So
it's a strong love-hate relationship. That's what we've seen in the community. You either love it or you hate it. If you haven't tried it, you're just going to say you hate it. That's what we've seen. And Elon said, you won't need a steering wheel. And he hinted at maybe taking it away, is that eventually you'll have to get used to less and less of that steering wheel. And then Franz even hinted that the Cybertruck might.
I know. So Franz has talked about the Cybertruck having the Yoke steering wheel, but now I'm kind of wondering, are they going to change that?
Might be an option as well. So we'll see.
Again, I am Team Yoke. Are you guys Team Yoke or Team Wheel? Let us know down in the comments. I'm actually pretty curious on this one. Okay, so we have to talk about a memo that went out to Tesla employees, and it basically warned them that the cheapest Model 3 is about to lose out on its $7,500 US tax credit.
Yeah, the Model 3 and the Model Y, especially early in 2023, have been hot sellers. But I have to imagine that it has a lot to do with this U.S. tax credit. But unfortunately, the Inflation Reduction Act is possibly going to change things a little bit when it comes to the incentives for Tesla. And according to a memo that was leaked to Electrek from a Tesla employee, Tesla just informed its employees that, hey, at the end of this month, going into April 1st, we're probably going to lose out on the U.S. tax credit for the base version of the Model 3.
This is really going to affect vehicles that have batteries that are made outside of the U.S. So currently, for an EV to qualify for the incentives, it just has to be assembled in the US or North America, but now the batteries also have to be sourced domestically.
So unfortunately, this only affects a single variant of the Model 3, and it's that base standard range Model 3. And keep in mind, that Tesla is assembled in Fremont in the California factory, but its batteries are LFP batteries, which means they're sourced from China, which then makes it ineligible for this tax credit now.
Now, other Teslas don't look to be impacted as their batteries are made domestically, but that can't be said for other EVs, as a lot of them don't make their batteries here in the US. Now, if this goes into effect April 1st, it's definitely going to affect consumer choices with a huge incentive that's going to be going away. Okay, so next, Tesla just announced that it's launching a new extended warranty program here in the US. So this basically buys your car 2 extra years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first.
Yeah, in the past, there was only a 2-year or a 4-year option. Now they've kind of limited down to only 2 years, and it's $3,100 for the Model S. The most expensive car in the Tesla lineup being the Model X also has the most expensive to extend that warranty. That's $3,500. But of course, you've got the Falcon wings, you've got the automated doors, more moving parts, more expenses possibly.
You can also purchase this for any Model 3 or Model Y, but you have to do that before your basic warranty expires, which is for 4 years or 50,000 miles. So it might not work for some 2018 or 2019 models. So the cost for the Model 3 is $1,800 and the cost for the Model Y is $2,000.
Yeah, Kim, with any extended warranty, it doesn't cover everything that can go wrong with the car, but Tesla says that covers the repair or replacement necessary to correct defects in materials or workmanship for most parts. Of course, this doesn't include the high voltage battery or the drive unit. Those have their own standard warranty protection at 8 years. Just like any other extended warranty program, Tesla does have a deductible on these. It is $100 for the Model 3 and Y. It's $200 for the Model S and X.
Yeah, so this is not a maintenance program. This is an extended warranty. So it's not going to cover things like brake pad repairs or other wear and tear items. And it's actually really easy to do it. You can just go to the upgrades tab and select extended service agreement option. Now people want to know, is it worth it to do it? And obviously that is a personal question on if it's worth it to you or not, but it's not going to cover some of the bigger things like your battery or your brakes. It's only for 2 years or 25,000 miles. So you have to kind of think about your situation and where your vehicle's at. Up next, we have an interesting story from Ford as they just unveiled an all-electric Explorer SUV. So Ford has been teasing this car for a while now, and they've officially taken the wraps off their first EV based on the Volkswagen's MEB platform.
You know, the odd part is that Ford, of course, is an American company, and they even say that the electric Explorer is going to be, quote, steeped in Ford's American roots, but it'll only be available right now in the European market. Now, the electric Explorer does have a lot of firsts going for it when it comes to Ford. You talked about VW's MEB platform, that's one of it. And also the Explorer is engineered in Germany for the European market, which it'll be built at Ford's new EV plant there in Cologne, which makes it their first EV built outside of North America. Ford also says this Explorer is a mid-sized crossover, so they'll be seating for 5 across 2 rows. They didn't say anything about the 6-seat or 7-seat options, but in the 5-seater, you're getting tons of storage. 470 liters, or about 16 cubic feet of storage. That includes a massive 17-liter area, or about 0.6 cubic feet of space in the center console. Ford says that's big enough for a 15-inch laptop. And it'll also be available in rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, but surprisingly, Ford didn't offer any range numbers for this, saying that it'll charge pretty fast. It'll go from 10 to 80% in about 25 minutes, and they're targeting a starting price around $48,000. And they'll start taking orders later this year and begin production sometime in 2024.
But what is so surprising to me about this is that they're not bringing this car to SUV-crazed North America, but maybe that has something to do with them wanting to keep those range numbers under wraps. Maybe it's not ready for the American market yet. We know that Americans love their SUVs, but we also tend in general to drive more than Europeans do. So maybe that just has something to do with it all. Up next, we have some new info on the Model 3 Project Highland program to share. So Tesla has been working on this Model 3 update for over a year now. And as we get closer to the launch of this refresh, we've got a couple more scoops on what might be changing. So over the last few months, we've seen several sightings of Project Highland Model 3s with the front and rear of the car covered in camouflage. And according to a report from Not a Tesla app, we know that the camouflage is hiding redesigned headlights.
Yeah, you know, there hasn't been any specific details on these redesigned headlights. We only know that they'll be a different shape than the current generation ones that have been on the Model 3 and, of course, eventually on the Model Y. Tesla actually recently updated the internals of the headlights to introduce these matrix LED technology, but it hasn't been enabled through the software update, and it's not clear if it's going to be added to these newly redesigned headlights. There's also going to be some changes possibly to the inside of the Model 3, something maybe to be more in line with the interior of the Model S. Probably a similar touchscreen, maybe stockless driving. I honestly do think stockless driving is coming very soon to the 3 and Y. But you know, I'll be surprised if the yoke crosses over. Possibly we'll see an option for the yoke and we'll get that new steering wheel and also a yoke option, but we'll see.
So there also is expected to be changes to the dash where the wood trim will be removed and replaced with a fabric finish. So Tesla used to use the Alcantara on the headliner of some early Model 3s, and it's possible that that finish could return, but this time to the dash.
The camouflage that we've all seen reportedly is hiding a new front bumper camera, which is going to be located in the lower vent area of the front bumper, similar to the bumper cam we've seen on the Cybertruck prototypes. And we've been expecting more cameras to be added to the bumpers of the Model 3 and Y with hardware 4, but according to this report, it doesn't look like any new cameras are coming to the rear bumper at least.
So the report does say there will be new cameras added to the side of the car, with the side repeater having 2 cameras. One of those will face the same orientation it is now, while a second will be added to look more towards the front and side of the car. So here's a mock-up of what it might look like via Tesla Lisa.
Other changes with the Model 3 that you've heard about are the 18-inch wheels. They're now expected to be finished in a matte black, with the spokes being a little bit less flat than they are now. Up next, 7-Eleven just announced it's launching a new EV charging network to spread across the US with their own public chargers and their own app, and it's going to be deployed at select 7-Eleven stores in the US, maybe eventually end up in Canada as well.
So you're telling me you can get your big gulp and you can juice at the same time?
Yeah. 2 years ago, 7-Eleven actually set a goal to try to install 250 DC fast chargers at select stores in the US. Now they're saying they want to build one of the largest EV fast charging networks of any retailer in North America. Now I tried to find this. I couldn't find the exact number of how many chargers to expect to make it the largest EV retailer, but 7-Eleven does own more than 13,000 stores and franchises across US and Canada. So if they can pull this off, it's going to be a huge network.
So their press release says 7 charge starts with chargers available in locations like Florida, Texas, Colorado, and California. And they'll be compatible with 2 DC fast charging connectors, CHAdeMO and CCS1, but the power output and pricing were not mentioned. The takeaway though for me is that 7-Eleven is trying to build its own network and app rather than signing up with some kind of partnership with EVgo or Electrify America. So it's a good way to promote your own brand, but of course, we'll just have to see how this whole thing plays out. Okay, so next is a story that really stood out to me. A Model 3 has successfully been hacked.
Congratulations, that is it. That's fantastic. That's amazing. We've gone from the Bluetooth chipset to the infotainment system to the gateway. That is quite the exploit and not something you see every day.
And this was at an event that challenged people to hack a Tesla and win a Tesla plus cash. So with EVs, just being more integrated into people's lives these days, the security of the software with these vehicles is just really critical.
It is, according to Tesalarti, in the worst case scenario, a hacker could not only gain access to a car, but could leak user data or even take control of the car. And at this recent hacking competition, which happened to be in Vancouver, British Columbia, a group of hackers successfully hacked the Model 3. They ended up winning that Model 3 as a prize. Plus, they got $100,000 cash out of it as well.
It's so crazy to me. Because of the nature of the hacking competition, the details of how the hack was performed haven't been made public to avoid a security risk for Tesla owners. I know we're all happy about that one. We don't want that information getting out there. But still, the method the hacker used was said to be pretty straightforward, which kind of makes me a little nervous. I'm sure Tesla will take note of this and at the end make everyone else safer from any kind of similar breaches. And Tesalarti gets to the details of the story, so we'll definitely link that down below. I'm really curious what you guys think about this, if it makes you nervous about owning a Tesla or just any kind of smart vehicle. Let us know in the comments below.
All right, ready to have fun? Finally this week, we'll wrap up with a pretty fun story here. It looks like Tesla Berlin has its own loop now for employees. They actually just published this as a marketing video on their official LinkedIn account saying that at Giga Berlin, we accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy and now also your way to work.
Oh, fun. I like this.
The invite was for interested people who want to work for the company, but really Tesla does post a lot of marketing videos to social media, but this 23-second clip was so different that some people thought it was faked. Other people said it's too crazy to be true, but it turns out this is the real deal because inside there is a slide, seems to be painted and lighted, giving it the same vibe as the Boring Company's tunnel there in Vegas too.
Yeah, and I recently made a video about that Vegas tunnel that I'll link down below, but the slide looks like it exits near Giga Berlin's paint shop, which was decorated with some murals. So this really isn't anything new. A lot of companies actually have similar approaches to engage employees. For example, VW announced last month that it had built an escape room experience at its Wolfsburg headquarters. But when I heard about all this, I wasn't too surprised because I remember that back in 2017, Elon sent an email to employees that was later leaked to the public. And it was promising a more fun experience for their employees. He even talked about having a roller coaster or giving free frozen yogurt to employees at the Fremont factory. We actually did a video about all this in the proposed Tesla theme park that would be something like the Ferrari land over in Spain. All right, so if you guys have watched this far, hopefully you enjoyed this video and you like our content. Please make sure you're subscribed to our channel, you've hit that like button, and check out the merch down below. I'm wearing one of the shirts right now. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Take care.